meeting at 4:30 just to move into an executive session, which we held prior to this meeting. So now we are reconvening into our regular meeting of the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board. This is Tuesday, December 10th, and it is now 6:30 p.m. On behalf of the governing board, I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. It's good to see so many of you here. Members of the public are attending both in person and remotely through YouTube Live. And in a few minutes, I'm going to read the rules of order for public comment at governing board meetings. If you wish to make a comment and you're remote this evening, you should have signed up using the Google form that's available under the YouTube Live description. If you don't see that link to the Google form, refresh your YouTube live stream and it should show up for you. If you're attending in person, the purple form request to address the governing board is available on the table in the back of the room. I'm going to ask you now all to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the rules of order for public comment at governing board meetings. The governing board welcomes public comment at its meetings by providing two different opportunities for the public to address the board. If your topic of interest is not on the agenda, you may address the board during the public comment section near the beginning of the meeting, or if the topic is on the agenda, you can choose to speak just prior to the discussion of that agenda topic. If you're joining remotely and wish to make a public comment, you should have already submitted the Google form provided with the YouTube link. And again, for those of you attending in person, please hand a completed purple form to the board secretary, Amy Sams, over there in the corner. The information requested on both of these forms is required for our meeting minutes. Speakers are called on when it's their turn to address the board. For those attending remotely, you can choose to enable your camera. And as a reminder to remote attendees who wish to speak, please unmute your microphone when called upon. Each speaker will be provided 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the number of speakers that sign up to speak at a governing board meeting. The sound of a buzzer indicates the end of your time. In the event of a large number of speakers, the board may need to limit the time for public comments so that we can conduct the business that is on the evening's agenda. By law, the board cannot discuss, consider, or vote on topics that are not on the agenda. This law assures the community that they're aware of the topics that will be discussed and voted upon this evening. If you wish to discuss a topic through written communication, board members' contact information can be found on our district's website. We appreciate the community's attendance at our governing board meetings, and we appreciate your comments, and thank you all for attending. Okay. So I am now going to turn to item number 3.4 on your agendas, which is our outstanding achievements. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Denise Bartlett, our superintendent, who will talk about our district's outstanding achievements.
Thank you, President Jackson. I am pleased to highlight several CFSD student and staff achievements. Our first one is the HOBY nominees. So each year, the Catalina Foothills School Counseling Department can select sophomores to participate in the prestigious Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership, or HOBY, seminar. This program is dedicated to training and nurturing the young leaders, empowering them to explore their potential and develop into effective leaders. This year, we're pleased to announce the nomination of 7 outstanding sophomores who will represent Catalina Foothills High School at the summer's leadership seminar. All of their names will appear in our governing board border tomorrow, as well as all of our other students who are mentioned tonight in the outstanding achievements. The second achievement is our all-state jazz choir. Senior Zach Pittner was selected to sing as one of 20 voices in the Arizona All-Star Jazz Clinic Choir under the direction of Dr. Craig Peterson. The choir spent 3 days preparing for their set of advanced vocal jazz literature, including arrangements of Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears and Getting to Know You by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Next, our EMC Choir. We're proud to celebrate the exceptional achievements of 15 talented Espero Canyon Middle School students who were selected to participate in the American Choral Directors Association statewide Cantamoraneous Honors Choir. This event was held at Camelback High School in Phoenix on Saturday, November 23rd. There were 13 students in 7th grade soprano 1, soprano 2, and alto honors choir, and 2 students in the 5th and 6th grade honors choir. So those students spent the day rehearsing and performing alongside other outstanding young singers across the state, and they're guided by their choral directors, Miss Julia Higgins at Espero Canyon. And we also want to congratulate choir director from Catalina Foothills High School, Director Jeffrey Evans, who served as the clinician and conductor of this year's state tenor bass honor choir. And congratulations to the students and their families, Mrs. Higgins and Mr. Evans. And hot off the press, on Saturday, Catalina Foothills was proud to host our first Tucson Regional First Lego League tournament at Orange Grove on Saturday. All 8 CFSD Community Schools teams performed exceptionally well, with 6 teams advancing to the Arizona First Lego League Challenge State Championship, scheduled for January 18th at the Arizona State University Memorial Union in Tempe. So we have 6 teams, as I said, that are advancing to state. Again, the names of all of the team members will appear in tomorrow's border, but the teams, our first one, a championship award, was Team 5155 called Reef Rangers. The Championships Award honors a team that excels in all aspects of the competition, embracing core values while demonstrating innovation and excellence in their robot game, robot design, and the innovation project. A second team that won for Engineering Excellence Award was Team 5158, Partners for Life. And this award celebrates the team with the efficiently designed robot, an innovative project, and an outstanding core values. Another team was called, for the Breakthrough Award, was the Marine Micromasters. They were awarded to the team that made significant progress in their confidence and capability in both the robot game and innovation project while embracing core values. We have the Motivate Award, and our team called the Illuminators won that one. And this award recognizes a team that embraces the culture of LEGO League through team spirit, enthusiasm, and collaboration. And the Innovation Project Award went to our Barbaric Blooms. This award celebrates a team with creative, well-researched solution to the season's challenge, effectively communicated to judges and the community. Our Core Values Award were the Tellers of the Propellers. That honors a team that demonstrates extraordinary enthusiasm, teamwork, and respect. Although 2 of our teams did not qualify for state, these teams performed well in the robot game. We had a 2nd place robot performance for our team called Laughing Matter, and we had a 5th place robot performance for Formula One, our Formula One team. So the tournament success wouldn't have been possible without the hard work and leadership of our current and former FLL and CFHS robotics team and students. From directing the tournament to recruiting volunteers, demonstrating first tech challenge robots, setting up, cleaning up, and interacting with teams and visitors, these students exemplified the spirit of FLL. A heartfelt thank you goes to Justine Anucci Bonamolo and the Foothills grad Nick Gruber from the class of 2020, who co-directed the tournament, and to Principal Mark Ruben Tolles, who warmly welcomed the teams and the guests to Orange Grove Middle School. And a special highlight was a CFHS student, Christian Pearson, who received the Outstanding Mentor Award, nominated by the teams he worked with throughout the season. So it was a wonderful tournament, lots of student participation.
Yeah, unless anyone think that having 6 Foothills teams win high titles in these types of tournaments is nothing but a home court advantage. This is typical. We send so many teams to these first LEGO League competitions, and this type of performance is typical for our Foothills teams. They are truly stellar. That's a great report.
It was nice that the high school students were really,
Absolutely.
were
There's
really instrumental
a
in
lot of
putting
that
this on.
mentoring going on from the high school level Lego League folks with the middle and elementary, and it's really a great program.
And it shows that the enthusiasm doesn't wane.
Right.
No, it really
They're not
doesn't.
growing.
It really, and if
The
you've ever been
students-
to one of these tournaments, there's so many moving parts. It's a kind of a organized madness scene. It's
Well,
really
the younger
very fun.
students were really asking questions of the older mentors. It was
Yeah.
really interesting to see, and really interested in the robots that they had designed and what they were working on. It was really interesting.
Wonderful. That's great news.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. So we have so many more things to celebrate this evening, and before we move on to our next item, I just want to announce that we're going to move an item from section 7 of our agenda, which is sitting under new business right now. We're going to move it up to the front, and after we do our super volunteer recognition and after we do our Catalina Foothills Star Award presentation to Girls Swim and Dive for their championship, we are going to go through the approval of resolutions recognizing the outstanding service of a couple of our board members here at the table this evening, so that everybody who's here will have the opportunity to share in that lovely celebration as well. So we are now going to go to item 3.5, which is our super volunteer recognition. This is a recognition of Angela Jackson from Catalina Foothills High School, and our board member, Carol Siegler, is going to present this evening.
I'm short.
Tell me about it.
Thank you, President Jackson. And I'm delighted that we have a state championship team here tonight to hear us honor Angie Jackson, who's been nominated by the athletic director at the high school, Charles Pierce, and they're all sitting up here together. Angie, it's only appropriate that you come up and stand next to me so that you are as completely embarrassed as we can possibly make you. If you are one of those people who is embarrassed. If you're not, well, then they can see your lovely face. I
Usually we plaster
have
your big phone
not
back there,
met
too.
Angie prior to this evening. I did talk to her on the phone today because I wanted to get to know her a little bit better. She is our super volunteer. The opening letter, the opening paragraph of the letter from Mr. Pierce says, Angie Jackson is an asset to Catalina Foothills High School. Her committed work with the sports programs at the schools and willingness to support others has benefited not only staff and players on the team, but the community as a whole. Angie is always willing to help, even with groups she's not directly involved with. And after talking to her today, I get it. I get it. And I will say right up front, her husband is working this evening and not able to be here. Her daughter is not able to be here because she's doing whatever extracurricular activities. But we do have her son Aiden with us tonight, and thank you for joining in your mother's celebration. We'll make you come up and be embarrassed in a minute. Angie has worked with the football program for 4 years, the 4 years that Aiden has been a part of the team. Unfortunately, I believe it was last spring, Aiden was injured and not able to continue playing football, but you've been active as a trainer, and we appreciate your continuing your interest and involvement. So 4 years, she has organized others, as well as doing a lot of things herself. Lots of organizing. Snacks the day of the game, pre-game meals to build the team morale the day before the game. The day of the game snacks, she sets up the table, and I can't imagine this, having raised 3 sons. She says that food goes pretty fast. And she's laughing. For away games, she organizes and gets the food so that the kids have something to eat afterwards. She's helped set up the hydration table, the water, the Gatorade, Saturday morning meetings, the bagels are there. 7-on-7, the water and Gatorade, they're there. She's helped organize all these things. And at this time, and in talking to her today, and something I hadn't particularly thought about, a shout out to members of our community. She picks up the bagels at Einstein's at the end of the day. Kids are happy to have the bagels. They're not even a day old, right? And members of the community that are willing to either do things at cost or give things for the kids. She's helped organize senior night and picture day. She does the concessions at the JV teams, for the JV teams, and organizes the JV parents to work for the varsity games so that, you know, the parents can see the games, and then the varsity parents are happy to work for the JV games. So she's just got it all figured out. She helped, right? Well,
Some days I haven't figured out.
some days, okay, well, some days, okay. She's helped organize the lift-a-thon for the boosters. She works with the team gear, and all this, as I said, and her son hasn't been playing on the team this year. So it's just a great credit to the kind of volunteers really that we have in our community. Now, Angie's daughter is on the JV pom line. So Angie is really starting with a repeat, the same thing. She's feeding the girls, pinning on the uniforms, whatever it takes. She does say, though, the girls don't eat quite as much as the boys. That I get that too. At one point, I understand from Mr. Pierce that we needed a permit for the bonfire at the high school, and people were a little bit at a loss on how to get that. Fortunately, her husband at one time worked for Rural Metro, so he figured out how to get that, and she took care of that. Angie told me that she loves to get to know the kids and be with them and help them. I think Angie is what I would call a great example of what our parents and our community do for our kids. Aiden chose to come here for academics, but he's also excelled in athletics, and he's certainly had his parents' support. Your daughter chose to follow Big Brother, and she seems to be equally involved. Now, when I talked to her today, she said, you know, I'm kind of embarrassed. She said, I don't really deserve this recognition. It's what everyone else does. Somehow I think you maybe just have taken it one step higher, but anyway. She talked to me about how the boosters, and I'm sure the swim boosters are included in this, and the parents group are like family. You work together to help the kids and help what's going on in the schools. So tonight, she was a little reluctant to receive this recognition, so we agreed that she's going to receive this recognition tonight on behalf of the many volunteers who choose to do and be so active and involved for our greater learning community. We can't do it without people like Angie, who really so joyfully and willingly and work together for our kids. So Angie, you know, we especially appreciate you, as we especially appreciate all of our parents. Mr. Pierce closed with, we are grateful to have the help of Angie Jackson here at the high school. Her care of our students and the support she provides benefits all the members of our community. We are fortunate to have a member of our community such as Angie, who cares so deeply about our students. Thank you for being a super volunteer. And Charles, you said it so well, thank you. So, we have a copy of the letter that Mr. Pierce wrote that we're going to give to you. We have, suitable for better framing if you are so inclined, in appreciation for dedicated service to the students of the Catalina Foothills School District, Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board honors Angela Jackson as a super volunteer, December 10th, 2024, signed by our president, and a keychain, making a world of difference. And it's a little keychain with a globe on it. Angie, we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
all of
Would you like to say a word or two? You don't have to.
you.
You will.
I would just like to thank Mr. Pierce. I couldn't have done this year without him. It was a different kind of year, and he helped tremendously. So, and I thank you guys for hiring him because he's made a world of difference. And I'd like to thank my kids and my husband for allowing me to be the crazy mom that I am and do all these things. And our booster board for football they're amazing. So I just wanted to thank them and all the kids because they also allow me to be that crazy mom there and treat them all like they're my own kids. So,
Well, we're so fortunate not only to have wonderful parents, but boy, do we have the best kids, huh? Mr. Pierce, would you like to say a word? I mean, I've read your letter, I've taken all your words, so I don't really know, but is there anything you'd like to say?
Sure. Yeah. When I think of the work that Miss Jackson has done for the school, it comes down to the commitment to kids, right? We're here for the kids. I'm a first-year athletic director, so there's a little bit of a learning curve when I came in the fall, right? Whenever I needed something, I would call Miss Jackson, and she would be willing to help guide me in the right direction. I am just so thankful that there are so many great parents and families in this community that can help us in the ways that they do. When we work together, we can do great things for these kids. I am just so thankful for Miss Jackson as well as the other volunteers who have helped me throughout this year. And I know Miss Jackson's a little embarrassed that I nominated her for this, but I want her to know just how grateful I am and grateful to all of those parents who have continued to support our schools. So thank you, Miss Jackson. You are appreciated.
I think we want a picture, and I think Aiden, I know we don't usually do this way, but come on, you can be in the picture.
He needs to be in the photo.
they call him Phil at school.
Oh, they call him Phil. You called him Aiden, so okay, Phil.
Or stand that.
Well, thank you for that great presentation, Carol. Thank you, Angela, for all of your work on behalf of our students and in support of our staff. And this is the fun part of our board meetings, the best part of our board meetings, actually. Okay, now we are going to move on to item 3.6, which is our Catalina Foothill Star Award, which is being presented this evening by our board member, Doug Hadley, to the Catalina Foothills High School Girls Swim and Dive Division II State Championship team and to our Division II Coach of the Year, Tamara Brandhuber. Take it away, Doug.
Yes, awesome. So, my last board meeting, my last presentation, and I'm so glad I get to do swim because I'm a big fan of swim. I'm not wearing my golf jacket tonight because I'm cold. I'm covering up my swim shirt. I don't have one for the girls. Maybe you guys can help me. This is my son's from 2016 when the boys won the state championship.
Show the back.
I snagged it from him. I'm wearing it tonight. And the nice thing is in the back it has all the championships for the girls and the boys. My daughter did not swim, unfortunately. She became a dancer. So all of you parents, you should be joyous that your daughters swim and don't dance because there's a lot less drama at the pool than there is at the dance studio. Trust me on that. I'm a big swim fan. I swam for 7 years, started when I was young, didn't really want to. Parents made me do it. I'm sure you guys understand that. And I got to high school, I wasn't very fast. And I get to high school, and then the club coach and the high school coach is like, well, it's time for double days. I said, what is double days? They're like, you're going to swim in the morning, and then you're going to swim in the evening. I said, I'm going to take up golf. So I bugged out of swimming my freshman year because it was too much, took up golf, so I was a quitter. But it kind of gave me the bug to want to swim. So then when my kids came along, I made them all swim. It was terrible. I made my oldest start at 6, my daughter at 5 until she took up dance. And I made my youngest, Dylan, start at 4. That might have been a bridge too far. That first year was a little rough, but I love swim, did the club swim, did the high school. Jack actually went all the way through, obviously, Catalina Foothills, and they won a state championship his senior year. So I'm a big fan of swimming you guys. Yeah, swimming's a grind. I don't think I need to tell you guys that. It's just endless hours staring at the black line on the bottom of the pool, wondering why. And it's funny, if you can train to swim at this level, and if you have the discipline to train at this level, that discipline will stay with you the rest of your life. It's amazing, because the time management and the self-discipline to get up that early in the morning and then stay up that late to finish the homework that you didn't get done because you were at swim practice and all the other things that go with it, it will stay with you for the rest of your life, and it'll pay big dividends because you'll have these organizational skills that a lot of kids, young adults, just don't have. So that's my pitch for why swimming is great, although I quit. Yeah, so let's see here. Where do we want to go from there? Probably congratulations. So I know you guys have 13 championships in 24 years-ish, and I don't think you've had one for 11 years. Is that right? Just yell out if I'm wrong. So we kind of broke. I mean, you won just about every darn year for the first 13 years, starting in 2000, and then an 11-year drought, and you guys broke the drought. And I know it was that's a big deal. Just a quick education for you guys, because they already know this. So the state swim meet, 8 individual events, 3 relays. The top 40 get to go and swim. The top 20 finishers actually score points. So the top 10 are in the A final. And now that's a change from when my son used to swim. The B final people actually score points, which is really cool, I think, because we used to not watch the B finals, not so much. But now, I'm just kidding, the B finals score points. So anybody who hits the top 20 scores points for the team, which is great. So let's see here. I kind of geeked out this morning. I spent about an hour at work not working, and I went through the results from the swim meet, and it was kind of fun. It took me back in the time machine because I hadn't really looked at it, and I was like, how did she figure out who to put in the relays and who's swimming where? And what they do at the swim meets is you only get to swim 2 events, individual events, and you only get to swim in 2 relays. And they do that so if you have a handful of fantastic swimmers, they can't swim in every event and bury everybody. You've got to have a well-rounded team to win a state championship. And these guys won 463 to 440. So they beat Desert Mountain by just 23 points without a diver. And I don't know how many points the diver contributes, but I feel like you're giving up some points when you don't have a diver. And we haven't had a diver historically for a long time. So winning state, beating Desert Mountain, no diver by 23 points. It came down to the last relay. And I know the gals knew going into that first, second, or third, they'd win the state title. So it was kind of a big deal. But back to my geek out. So I went through all of the results. So I'm just going to call out a few people here and just ask a few questions. So Skylar, is Skylar here? Nope, no Skylar. Okay, she's great because she was helping coach and manage. And then I've got Gwen. Is Gwen here? Put your hand up a little higher than that. I'm old. So Gwen qualified. What year are you? Oh, so you qualified and got to go up. So that's awesome. And then our other qualifier was Annalise. Is she here? And then another one. What year are you? Junior. And you got to go up, and she got to swim as well. So they made it into the top 40, which is awesome. What club do you swim at? Or do you swim club? Where? Oh, Fast. Okay. Fast and Forward. All right, those are legit. I like it. So those 2 got to go swim in the top, and they made the top 40, which is awesome. So now moving on, I've got another group of gals here, and let's go with Annika. Hand up. Is she here? Nope, no Annika. That's all right. Sophie? A little higher. Sophie scored points. Sophie made it into the B finals. Well done. Where are you swimming at? Fast. Another Fast. I should have known. Maddie? There's Maddie. That's pretty good. Maddie made points. B final. Where are you swimming at, Maddie? Fast. Is the whole team swimming fast? I can see where we're headed. we all swam at JCC back in the day when my son swam. But Caitlin here? No, Caitlin. She hit the B final, made some points. And then Courtney? No, Courtney. Courtney also hit the B final. So those 5 gals all made it into the Bs and all scored points for the team, which was awesome. Of those 5 gals, 3 are coming back. 2 of them are freshmen. So the way I look at it, if you're scoring in the B finals as a freshman or a sophomore, you're probably into the A finals as a junior or a senior. So the good news is you got pretty good depth next year. You're not losing a whole lot of speed, a little bit of speed. All right, next group of gals. Where is Zoe? Zoe here? Oh, Zoe hit twice in the B finals, 11th. So just 1 spot out of the A finals, which it's always, if you, especially the parents, like, really? Come on. Not that I ever did that. And then I got Maya. Is Maya here? A little higher. There you go. Zoe, where are you swimming club? Ford? Okay. And then Maya hit twice, 12th and 12th in the free, and swam in 2 relays. She swam in the free relay, 200 free, and the 200 medley. Very nice. So big contributor. Well done. All right, next group of folks here is Ruby here. No Ruby. So Ruby was 9th overall in the 200 free. How about Izzy? There's Izzy. All right, Izzy, let's see what you did here for me. 7th in the 200 free, 8th in the 500. The 500 stinks. So you like free. Are you a free specialist, or is that just where you landed? This is where you landed? Where are you swimming at? And you are a sophomore? Love it. All right, so you'll be back. Awesome. Moving on. Vidi, even though it's spelled with an R. Come on, you're killing me. All right, Vidi. Vidi, 2nd in the 500. And 2 seconds behind the leader, the winner, which was Layla? Leela, thank you. So you almost ran her down, and you are a sophomore. You're both sophomores. Did you think you had a shot to beat her? Yes. 2 seconds between Foothills takes 1st and 2nd in the 500. Actually, the girls went 1st, 2nd, first, 2nd, 4th, and 7th. Pretty sure you won the meet on the 500, by the way. But who's counting? That's awesome that you two are so close. Did you pace off her, or did you? Okay, in the last 100, it's wide open. Just whoever wins, wins. Friendly until the bell. I love it. All right, so then you were B finals in the 100 breast, and then you were on the relays, 200 medley. Did you swim the free leg on the medley? What did you swim in the? Yeah, in the medley you swam the free. Was that your fastest 50 cut ever? I bet it was. So when I did swim, like I said, I wasn't that fast. I'd made the A relay, but I was always like the 4th, barely. Or somebody gets sick and they put me on the A relay. It stunk. But what they did to me is they made us swim fastest to slowest. So I was the slowest swimmer. So they get me a lead and they go, you lose the lead, Hadley, we're going to beat you up, basically. Mm-hmm. Now they don't do that. Now they have like the slowest goes out, and I don't know, the fastest is always swimming the anchor leg. But so I saw that you were swimming the 50 free. That's pretty cool. All right, no Ren, right? Ren is at Junior Nationals. That's pretty cool. So that's the next leg up, Junior Nationals. 3 of the gals were at Junior Nationals, which is huge. She was 4th in the 500, 5th in the 200, and then both the relays, the 200 and the 400, which is awesome. How about Taylor? You have a Taylor? No Taylor? Okay. We have a Taylor on the team, though, right? Conley. Okay, so it's not my fault because they list her name backwards and forwards depending on. So I don't know which. Even our record board. Is it Conley, Taylor, or Taylor? I was battling with that this morning. Whatever her name is, she's not here. Okay. Where's she swim at? Who's she? She's fast also. 3rd in the back, 4th in the fly, 200 medley relay, 400 free relay. Awesome. Which only leaves the last 2. I call them the hammers, and that's Layla? Leela. I knew I was going to screw it up. Leela and then Amber. So Leela, 1st in the 200, 1st in the 500, both the relays. And then Amber, 1st in the 50 free, 1st in the 200 IM, and both relays. So those 2 girls are the ones that were on the K-Gun show, and probably the 2 co-captains, I'm guessing. So Amber's off to San Diego State, but Leela, 3 times. Leela's back. She's only a sophomore. Wow. So that's awesome. Great. So you have another chance to get her. You have 2 more chances to get her.
And also those relays
So basically the gals between that 500 free and those 3 relays where they went first, and third, pretty much wrapped it up. Yeah. But I love the fact that all the girls helping out in the bees. I think that's fantastic. Did I miss somebody? What do we got? I knew it. All right. I'm. Hang on. I got Lillian, and I got her right here. I can tell you what Lillian did. Lillian had points in the breaststroke. She had points in the IM, and she was in the 200 medley. That's my fault, Lillian. Where are you? Hand up. And you're swimming for fast. Oh, Lillian's a senior. Yeah, I would put immediately as well. You made it before I got Izzy, I got Ruby, I missed Lillian. That's what happens when you can't read your own writing. That's awesome. And you were the breaststroker in the medley? Yeah, nice job. All right, thank you for that correction. I appreciate that. All right, I think I hit everybody. That's all I got. I love swimming. I love you guys. I love the fact that you broke the drought and you're back and everybody contributed. Everybody's up there killing it. I'm going to let the coach come up and fill in. Come on up. Coach of the year. I mean, you win state, you get coach of the year. So, comment on whatever I missed, feel free.
Well, I kind of chimed in there already, because I said, hey, several of these swimmers are in for All-American consideration, which is amazing. And, I have to check the new times, but Leela actually might be All-American in one of those. There's a little bit of a discrepancy there. At state, they said it was, but according to those times, it's like a half second off or something. So either way, it's incredible. And in your geek out session, you did.
I did geek out hard.
Yes, I can tell that. And
I was trying to figure out who you were putting where on the relay.
Definitely.
Because there's some of those spots could have gone either way. Did you swim them off, or did you flip a coin, or favorites?
No, it's definitely all by time. And the thing that really made the big difference, because our relays were really consistent through the swimming season and how they ended up in meets. But what really made the difference was some of the individual races that scored points that, had they not been in there, we would have had to take zeros on those races. Like, we didn't have somebody who would even qualify to get into a B race. And so without them doing those things, we would have been in second place. Yeah. And so it truly was it's a team effort. It wasn't just, hey, you know what, if we win this relay, we're going to win states. It truly, every single person who swam an individual event, they were placed there because that's how we scored the points. And 23 points that's not even a first place. Basically, you get 24 points for a first place. So it's less than one first place. And so it truly was a team effort. And you can see by the laughter that all the girls are great. We have really a lot of fun together. And you hit the nail on the head that it is a grind for these kids. They swim twice a day. 3 to 4 times a week, and they put in tens of thousands of hours, and they really deserve all of the credit for their dedication and hard work and never giving up, and they're always there for each other. They're very supportive of their team, and so each other. So great job, ladies. Really proud of all of you.
Izzy, yes, we have a Sophie. Zoe. What's the chance for repeat next year? Congrats. Annalise. Nice. Let's find out. Caitlin. Let's get a photo.
No.
With you. And that's probably 2 rows.
They missed somebody?
Neil.
What? So do you have anything you didn't see?
There's a certificate there for Tamara as well.
Couple more up front. All right.
Get up there, yeah.
I didn't give Tamara her certificate, Coach. It's a gift.
Except he gave it in the photos.
All right.
Oh, yeah, why not? While he's standing up there? I don't know if he's gonna stand up there.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for that presentation, and thank you guys all for attendance. I hope you can hang on with us for another couple of minutes for one more celebration. If you have to leave, we understand, but this will be fun as well. We're gonna go to item 7.2, which is approval of resolutions to recognize the outstanding service of board members Doug Hadley and Carol Siegler. I don't know if you guys are aware, but we had an election in November for some open positions on our governing board. Doug and Carol will be cycling off of the board at the end of this year, actually after this meeting, because this is our last meeting for 2024. Doug has been on the board now for 8 years, yes?
Years.
And Carol, I have lost count. Doug's finishing up his second term. Carol actually retired a little, I'm stealing all of Amy's thunder, but
I know,
Carol
I'll have
actually
nothing to say to
retired
that.
a little bit earlier, a couple of years ago, and we brought her back to fill out the rest of this year for our board member, beloved board member, Amy Bola, who passed away in March. And Carol came right back, stepped in, didn't miss a beat, and filled in that position for us through the end of the year. And so tonight is the last board meeting for both of them. Our vice president of the board, Amy Kraus, is going to make a presentation of the resolutions that we will vote on this evening, recognizing their excellence and selflessness of service to Catalina Foothills School District. Amy.
Doug, come back up here.
Oh, sure.
Come on. Thank you all for being here. It is, as Doug said when he started to present these awards and when Carol did, for board members, presenting awards and recognizing our community members is really the most fun part of the job. I mean, it's hard to imagine there's anything that we do that's less fun than that, but we do, trust me. That's his favorite part of the job. So, so Doug has been, and so it's really nice that other people besides those of us sitting around the table can also be here for a moment like this. Doug has been on the board for 2 terms, so he's finishing his 8th year. Most of you know that board service is an elected position. It's a 4-year term. We serve because we love our schools and our teachers and our kids, and we love the work. And so that's why we're here. So lots of meetings, lots of presentations, but really it's all part of serving our community. And for those of you who don't know, Doug has not only served our Foothills community for the past 8 years, he's also served our nation as a member of our military, and we thank you and your family. His wife Lolita is here. We thank all of you for your service to our community at large and our school community as well. So because we really can only give you a token of our appreciation.
They won't let me keep my computer. 8
No.
years, and I
They
don't get to
won't-
keep my computer.
No.
Come on, people.
We are doing 2 things this evening. We are giving you to take home just a certificate of appreciation for your board service. This can go on the I Love Me wall. That's what I call it. And then also, I'm going to propose a resolution for our board to vote on this evening, which, if passed, will become part of the record of our school. And except I can't read it because it's really small. Oh my God! And I'm even wearing my trifocals. So, this is the resolution I'm going to ask my fellow board members to vote on momentarily. Whereas Robert Douglas Hadley has served with distinction in the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board for 2 terms, consisting of 8 years of uninterrupted service, and whereas Mr. Hadley has dedicated countless hours to attending meetings, engaging with the community, and addressing the needs of students and families, while always acting with integrity, fairness, professionalism, and in a collaborative spirit with a focus on the best interests of students, and whereas Mr. Hadley has been instrumental in sustaining the district's robust curriculum and supporting the implementation of new academic programs, demonstrating a special interest in athletics and career and technical education, as well as a commitment to retaining high-quality educators and highlighting their exceptional skills. And whereas during his tenure, Mr. Hadley has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to the academic success, well-being, and future of all students in the Catalina Foothills School District, and has similarly worked for the betterment of its faculty, staff, and community at large. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board and administrators hereby express its sincere gratitude to Mr. Hadley for his dedicated service to our community, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Mr. Hadley as a token of our appreciation, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in the official records of the Catalina Foothills School District, and that is signed, well, if passed and adopted by four other board members, Dr. Denise Bartlett, our superintendent, Ms. Mindy Westover, our associate superintendent, Ms. Cheryl Castro, the director of curriculum and development, and Amy Sams, our board secretary. So that is my proposed resolution.
Second. I have a second.
Well, nobody says he can't second his own
That's right.
resolution.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution appreciating the 8 years of governing board service provided by Mr. Doug Hadley. All those in
Well,
favor?
can we have some discussion?
Would you like to discuss, Carol? We
Yeah,
can discuss amongst ourselves.
Doug, it's really been a lot of fun and an honor and a privilege to serve with you most of your 8 years. And I was off for a year and a half there, but it really, you've added to our board, and you're fun to serve with, but you've always had the kids and the district the center of your thoughts when we deliberated, I can't even talk, and thank you for your service, and it's been fun. It's been fun. Thank you.
Gina, did you want to say anything? Okay. And I actually had the privilege of being in the same election period with Doug 2 elections in a row. And we worked together gathering signatures, and Doug's always been very, very supportive of this school district and this governing board and his colleagues on the governing board. He's always been very respectful and very prepared for meetings, and really does the best sports presentations out of all four of us, although Carol is very good at doing sports presentations as well, which is a good thing because I know nothing about sports and did not have sports-minded kids. So Doug, you have certainly brought your own touch to this governing board. It's been wonderful to have you for the last 8 years, and I feel that it was really a great meeting that we had 8 years ago in Mona's Danish Bakery, where we tapped you on the shoulder and asked you to consider running for this governing board. I'm glad you said yes. I'm glad you repeated your term and did 8 years with us, and I'm sorry to see you go, but I know you're ready to move on. So thank you for the last 8 years. We appreciate it.
Do we actually need to vote?
I think we need to vote to pass a resolution.
And then he
do we
can
not?
say whatever
So,
he would like to say.
all those in favor of the motion and the second to approve this resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Vote for myself.
Motion carries
Yeah, you can vote for
5-0. You are appropriately resolved.
I've talked enough tonight, but I will say one thing. So 8 years ago, I come home from work and my wife Lolita's like, "Oh, Eileen Jackson wants to have coffee with you." And I go, that's great. I don't know who Eileen Jackson is. "Oh, she's the president of the school board." I'm like, that does not sound good. And they really wanted my wife to be on the school board, not me. So 3 kids through the district, right? I served 8 years. My wife did 16 years, either volunteering on an FFO or president of an FFO. President of FFO for 10 years?
Long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, they really wanted her, but they needed a guy, apparently, because there's not a lot of guys up here. So they ended up with me. But that's the super volunteer, and the one who's given a ton to the district is my wife, Lolita. So I want to give her a go.
I would second that.
And I'm out.
And one more, if those of you who were here a couple of years ago when Carol ended her 26-year tenure, or she thought she ended her 26-year tenure on the school board, we had a much larger celebration for her. We named the boardroom after her. So tonight will be a little more, is it more subdued or would it be, yeah, more subdued. So Carol, again, as Eileen said, and I just want to reiterate that, Carol served on the board for so long, and I guess and many people who work in this school district or are involved in the school district know that you think you're gone, but you're not really gone. We get you back somehow to do things. And so Carol really stepped up at a time for us that was really tragic and difficult and a little destabilizing, when you have a board and you have 5 board members who have worked together for a decade, and so Carol, very seamlessly slid back into her old seat. I think, was that your seat even? I think it was. I think it was too. And so, it's just a measure of the commitment that really, we're so fortunate. So fortunate to have you, to have your knowledge, your wisdom, your collegiality, your collaborative spirit, everything you bring to this board, and still did without missing a beat and without losing a step and no lack of energy or fervor. You stepped in and it was like you never left. So this resolution that I would like to propose for board approval this evening states as follows. Whereas Carol Sigler had previously served with distinction on the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board for 26 years of uninterrupted service through December of 2022, and whereas Ms. Sigler demonstrated her unwavering commitment to Catalina Foothills School District by serving again following the tragic passing of our colleague Amy Bola, showing exceptional compassion during a difficult time for our community, and whereas Ms. Sigler assumed this role with grace and commitment, honoring the legacy of Ms. Bola while ensuring continuity in governance and support of our students and families. And whereas during her tenure, Ms. Sigler worked diligently to uphold the values and vision of the board, actively participating in discussions and decision-making that prioritize the well-being and success of our students and providing stability and reassurance to our school and the wider community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board and administrators formally recognize and honor Carol Sigler for her dedicated service and significant contributions during this transition period. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Ms. Sigler as a token of our appreciation, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in the official records of the Catalina Foothills School District Governing Board, signed all the same people that I mentioned before. Swap out Carol Sigler and Doug Hadley on the signature. This is your resolution. Please join me. This is your
Already framed.
certificate. It's already framed, and really, we just appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. I've just appreciated all the time have spent with the district. It's just a wonderful community, wonderful kids, wonderful parents, wonderful support from people who don't really even never have had kids go to school in our community, but we have such wonderful support. And so it's just been a double pleasure to do a little redo here for a little while. I'm so sorry for the circumstances, of course, and never would have hoped for that. But it's really been my honor and my pleasure and privilege to have been able to do this. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say, Amy mentioned Carol just came right back in as if she had never been gone. And, you know, Carol actually never really was gone, because I know for a fact that she was watching every board meeting. She came to several board meetings after she had retired. And if she missed the board meetings, I know she was reading every single set of minutes from the prior board meeting. So she truly did not miss a step when she returned, I want to say in June of this year, I think is around the time that you ended up returning. You were off for about a year and a half. But such is the commitment and love that Carol has for Catalina Foothills School District, that even when she retired after 26 years, she kept her hand in the game, and that certainly worked to our benefit, Carol. We thank you for being willing to come back and spend your Tuesday evenings with us. And
We still have to vote.
or no,
Still have to vote.
we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
vote.
Sorry.
We're gonna vote. This is
I
the
thought you-
discussion
oh,
part.
okay, sorry.
Discussion part. And I just wanted to add that because you truly were ready to jump right back in. Doug or Gina, anybody want to add anything?
All I'm gonna say is they named the boardroom after her. I think
We never do
I
that.
think that says it all.
Yes.
That's all I got.
We never do that. And I think she's probably good until we have another board member
Oh,
who
no.
serves for 26 years.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be the Carol Stiegler boardroom for quite some time. Gina, did you want to add anything? Okay,
Thank
are
you.
we ready for
I would
a
just like to
motion?
say, that the stability of our district really rests with the stability of our governing board and the leadership that we've had in the past. So thank you for your work and your diligence to doing what's best for students always with the students at mind. Even difficult decisions that when we have to make budgetary decisions that are not popular, you always led and made your decisions with our students and their families at heart. So thank you.
So we have a very eloquent resolution. Do we have a second for the motion for this
Second.
resolution? We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution carries 5-0. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you both for your service. We appreciate you. The school district appreciates you, and you will be sorely missed, both of you. All right.
Now we can let these poor people live.
I know.
Now we're celebrating.
I know. Now, we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. We do have public comment section coming up next. I have no purple forms here, and it looks like I have no one online who has filled out a form for public comments. So with that, we will close the public comment section of our meeting and go to our item number 5, which is our consent agenda. Does anyone have anything that they wish to pull from our consent agenda? Is there any, we lost our board member. Oh, he's just back there getting coffee. I didn't see you go back there. Pardon me?
We lost Gina too, FYI.
Oh, no.
Oh, is she coming back in?
But I
I
saw it freeze and I,
Okay.
Just wait a minute.
Yeah, let's just wait a minute and see if we can get her back.
thank you.
She's coming in? Good. I was just gonna text her.
I think so. This is for her. This is the original that you, yes. Thank you.
There she is. You're back.
Hey.
No vote, we waited for you to come back. We're just moving on to the consent agenda at this point. Gina, did you have anything that you needed to pull from the agenda this evening? Oh, I think we caught your vote, but that, just for the record, we did pass the resolution 5-0, so there we go. Okay, so if we're not pulling anything from the consent agenda, is there any further discussion before we take a motion on the consent agenda? Okay,
I move that the governing board approve consent agenda items 5.1, the governing board November 25th, 2024, regular meeting minutes as presented. 5.2, the expense voucher memorandum as presented. 5.3, the field trip request memorandum as presented. 5.4, the personnel memorandum as presented. 5.5, the acceptance with gratitude of the gifts and donations memorandum as presented. And 5.6, the approval of the School Facilities Division Award to Tolan Mechanical for the replacement of an air conditioning unit at Manzanita Elementary School in the amount of $28,124 as presented.
Second.
we have a motion and a second for tonight's consent agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. We will go to item 6, which is our unfinished business. And this is consideration of proposed Arizona School Board Association, ASBA, bylaws. This is an action item. And we had discussed this a couple weeks ago at our previous meeting and realized that we were missing some documentation that was supposed to be in our packet that sadly none of us noticed was missing. And so we now have had that document provided to us. And this is our opportunity to give direction to Amy Sams, I believe is how this is going to work, to vote on approving the recommended bylaw changes of the Arizona School Board Association. And so I'm going back to unfinished business. Does anyone have any further discussion now that we have the additional document in hand regarding the changes that the School Board Association is recommending that we approve in the bylaws for the operation of that organization? Or just any further discussion regarding this?
I think last time we talked about most of the changes being to clarify what authority the executive board has, and to also, really the most substantive change to me seemed to be the proper vetting of the professionals who work with the organization.
Absolutely.
So, and that's obviously a response to some of the events that happened last year with their executive director. It's, and I don't think the additional documents didn't really change that. It just,
Right.
yeah, so nothing new.
Nothing new,
Nothing
but
changed. Yeah.
clarification, and it was good to have all of the information in
Yeah.
front of us before we
For sure.
make any kind of recommended motions or vote on either of these measures, or either of these motions at the bottom of the memo. Does anyone have any additional questions or discussion regarding the proposed bylaw changes? Carol? Gina?
Oh.
There are two motions on the memo.
May I make one, please?
Sure.
I move that the governing board approve the bylaw change proposal as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bylaw change proposal as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Second motion, Carol?
Sure. I move that the governing board approve Amy Sams, administrative assistant to the superintendent and governing board, as its designee to cast the governing board's vote online regarding the ASBA bylaw as presented. And you need to do it real quick, huh?
And she does need to do it more
Right.
quickly.
Yeah.
And so we have a motion and a second, and as a point of clarification, our governing board gets one vote. It's not 5 separate votes, and Amy, if approved here, will make that vote as are directed. So we have a motion and a second to approve Amy Sams to vote as directed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Great. Thank you for that. All right, we're going to move on to item 7, which is our new business, consideration of revisions to policy IMG and regulation IMG-R, animals in schools. This is a first reading, and Dr. Bartlett will handle this for us.
Thank you. So the language in policy IMG and regulation IMG-R, animals in schools, is being updated and clarified based on the American with Disabilities Act. So the language that we're adding for the policy, the term service animal was included as an animal that is permitted on school buses. So typically no animals are on school buses, but a service animal. And it was brought, it was brought up that maybe we should distinguish between service animals and non-service animals as we move into the policy and the regulation, which as a second reading, I'll bring that language back to you with the terms service animals and non-service animals, because it kind of was confusing between the policy and the regulation. So we will do that at our next reading. But the definition of service animal is included in the policy to mean any dog that is individually trained to work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability, including a physical, sensory, psychiatric, intellectual, or mental disability. A service animal does not include other species of animals, though, whether wild, domestic, trained, or untrained. So this definition was very important. The language was added from the American with Disabilities Act regarding the need for service animals to always be under the control of their handler, and provide specific information about who the handler is and assistance that may be needed by district personnel for the handler. Language was also added about the requirements for the service animal to be harnessed, leashed, or tethered while in public places unless these devices interfere with the animal's work with the person with a disability. And if a service animal is out of control and the handler does not take effective action to control it, staff may request the animal to be moved from the premises. Then at the bottom of the policy, we added legal references and a new adoption date after a second reading. So that is the language from the policy. At our next reading, we will, as I said, use service animals and non-service animals. Yes.
Okay, in the second paragraph of that policy, which I really dislike how this whole policy is written, but that's another issue. The first sentence is, service animals are permitted on school buses. You mentioned that. And then in the regulation, it talks about school buses, and there's also other district vehicles that are official vehicles that students are sometimes transported in that are not school buses, right? So does the exception for service animals on school buses also apply to other district vehicles?
Yes.
Okay, so it should say that, because it makes that distinction in the regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So they should just be consistent.
But the thing is in the regulation, they talk about animals should not be transported on school buses, but those are just
non-service
Non-service
animals. That's what we're
animals.
going to add. We're going to add non-service animals.
right. And
At
so
that point.
are you saying that non-service animals should not be transported in other school vehicles?
Correct.
It's
Non-service
non-service
animals.
animals, not but a service animal,
Maybe.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
See, that's what's confusing. That's why it needs to be service animal and.
And non-service, right.
Yes.
But in the regulation, it says non-service animals shall not be transported in other district vehicles.
It says just animals there. and that's why it has to say non-service rather than service.
Okay.
Well,
No, I lost track.
I think,
Um,
yeah,
Yes,
But I think you know what
Non-ser-
we're saying.
yes, I do.
I mean,
It's,
I wouldn't even put these two together, but
Service animal.
We understand that.
Service animal.
I
can
get,
only be
but
a
I
dog.
get why they are
I
together.
suggested that we change the title of these policies, but apparently we
We
can't
know
do
that that's impossible
Yes,
with
we
the
know
ASBO
that that is
system.
impossible.
Why isn't it called dogs in school?
Because you could have a
Because
That's
other
right.
animals, like
I thought it has to be a dog.
service
they're
animals.
service animals,
But you could have
non-service
a
animals.
class pet.
You could have a class goldfish or a class iguana or.
Anakin's looking at us like we're nuts.
I know, right?
No, and they do
Yes.
have, yeah.
They can't be transported.
So this was
Well, what
really
if a
had
kid
to,
takes it
we
home
had
for
to
the
update
weekend?
it
They've
because
got-
it's service animals.
Well, it's
On the
got
bus.
not
And
on
the
the
terminology
bus. They
seeing
won't
eye
do it on the
dogs
bus.
is really outdated, so. It was really updated because of the America with a Disability Act and the definitions of those terms. So we will clean it up for the
Yeah.
next reading of this. And
I didn't mean to derail the conversation. I
no,
was
with service
wanting
and non-service, that's a very good
to- And
distinction.
buses and other district vehicles
Yes.
is the other.
And other district vehicles.
Sorry, too soon? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not.
So then if we move on to the regulation then, language was added to the regulation regarding the documentation that we provided to principal prior to the approval of any animal that is brought on into the classroom. So if a child wants to bring their pet into the classroom, this is the documentation that needs to be provided to the principal. The vaccination history of the animal, including proof of current rabies and distemper vaccinations, proof of current licensure, proof that the animal has been spayed or neutered, proof of treatment of fleas and ticks, and current certificate from a veterinarian that the animal is healthy and disease-free.
Big deal to bring an animal on campus.
It is a very big deal.
We don't do it much, do we? I mean,
No.
I remember when my own kids were in elementary school, they kind of put the kibosh on it way back then, so I don't think it really happens all that much.
It doesn't.
So, but obviously our policies need to be compliant for any situation that could arise, so.
Taking all the fun out.
I know.
And then information in the guidelines that apply to animals in schools was also added. So animals shall not be transported in other district vehicles without written authorization.
Right.
Be written authorization. A classroom shall be kept clean and free of any animal waste. The staff member must adhere to local, state, and federal laws and to district policies and regulations regarding such animals. And then the owner of the animal is liable for any damage to district property or personal property. And any injuries to individuals caused by the owner's animal while on district property. So,
Now, this is a service animal, or
No.
is this?
no,
Any
this is a
animals.
non-service.
Non-service animal.
Yes,
Any
this is a non-service animal.
Yeah, it does need to be in there. and
Yes,
then-
we will distinguish between service and non-service.
Do we have any service animals on our campuses?
No, we actually have one being trained to be a service animal right
Oh.
now by Dr. Erin Matajasic.
Oh, so
Wow.
does she bring the
Yes.
animal with her because of that?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha,
Wow.
gotcha. 'Cause they were talking about animals and their handlers.
Yes.
And I guess I never really thought about if a child or a teacher or somebody would need a service animal, usually they are also the handler. It's not generally going to be a third party, but it's possible, I guess.
It is.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, there's nothing very controversial here. It's more of a readability.
Yes,
i-
yes, and we will
issue.
clean that up.
everyone knows we wordsmith with the best of us. Okay, anything else that anyone wants to add regarding animals in schools? I know that really is kind of a funny title. Be taken the wrong way. Okay. All right, then we will see this again for a second reading at our first meeting in January.
January 14th.
January 14th, okay. We have already handled item 7.2, so we're going to go on to our discussion and reports. Item 8.1 is the fiscal year 2026 draft budget process, which will be presented by Dr. Bartlett.
Yes, so our annual budgeting process has begun.
Crazy.
Yes, it's almost a year-long process that we do. But tonight I'm going to go over kind of the draft process that we are proposing for you for our maintenance and operation budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026, which is always referenced as fiscal year 26. It's always the second number of the budget year. So as you know, on January 28th, we are going to have a study session on the Arizona school finance laws and structure. Dr. Mary Camerzell is going to be here with us, and she will present some really great information on that. So that will help with as we get into this budget process. The first thing that we do in our budget process, and we have started this now in November, is we reconcile our salary and wages and benefit data, and then we revise. So what happens is we hire teachers, teachers leave, teachers hire, and we reconcile the budget to see what we actually spent from what we've budgeted. And if there's a positive or a negative. So we reconcile that to see if it's a negative, then we know we didn't budget enough and we need to fix that. If it's a positive, then we have that money going into this next budget year. So that's the reconciliation. Also at this time, we analyze all other areas of the fiscal year 25 budget, the budgeted and actual, and review any then legislative updates or proposals impacting K-12 schools and determine budget assumptions to establish the fiscal year 26 budget. So any unfunded mandates that come down, that's when we begin to do that. Beginning in March and April, we finalize our fiscal year 26 straw budget proposal. So you'll be seeing lots of straw budgets. On March 22nd of 2025, we will be doing the non-renewal of professional staff with one-year contracts. I know that's not your favorite thing to do, but it's important in our budget process. On April 8th, we will present our budget proposal to the governing board. On April 8th, we'll also determine salaries, wage, and benefit proposals. We will consider those and approve those. On April 8th, we'll also offer first round of contracts to our professional staff and their addendas. And then on April 22nd is our second round of contracts. And there is a new law that we can't even offer contracts before March 15th.
Really?
Yes. So districts have notoriously offered contracts very early.
Yeah.
So that
Lock them in.
to lock them in. Now we're not. No district is allowed to do that before March 15th. So that was an.
Well, I know we've talked about this because some districts do offer have had the habit of offering contracts quite early without a salary figure in
Yes.
them, which
has never been.
we've
anything
never
we've
done that.
We've
We have never done that. It's just not a thing that we should be doing.
Was that meant to
Tighten that up,
tamp
maybe?
down that weird competition between school districts and
I
kind
think
of
so.
put everybody on a level playing
Yes.
field?
Yes. And it,
Legislature did that for us?
yes.
I would imagine they heard from some constituents that were having difficulty with that process.
We think that is a help to us, but
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
districts do not.
Right, of course.
So they
Well, we still do it, and we don't know for sure what the state budget is. so-
Right, that's
we
true.
don't. We take a leap of faith on that.
Yeah, but we do offer them a number. We don't ever give them a blank number in their contract
Correct.
and expect them to sign
Or
it.
the same number.
Or the same.
Many
right,
districts
yeah.
put the same number from their current year into their next year contract, and then they reissue an addendum or another contract after
With the-
Once they have a
budget,
budget.
which that has just never been our culture here. We prefer to let them know what they will be making and what their increase will be before they are expected to sign a contract.
That's much honest and upfront, so.
Yes. In April and May of 2025, we'll present budget proposal information to key stakeholder groups. So we'll present what that information is. April and June, we'll conduct regular and special board meetings as needed to finalize our fiscal year 26 budget. And then in June or July, we'll finally approve it. Of course, we have to have that approved by July 1. June or July, we will post our proposed budget for public review. June 10th, we'll approve notices of appointment for our classified personnel. And June or July, we'll conduct public hearing and adopt the fiscal year 26 budget. And then in June or July, we'll submit our budget to the Arizona Department of Education.
With July 15th being the absolute.
Yes. July 15th.
And this is really no change from prior years' practices of when we're starting our budget, when we start seeing that straw budget at every
Correct.
single board meeting. Lots of budget talks, but this is not a departure from our
No,
current
It's
process.
not.
Okay? We look forward to it. I know I like the budget process.
I think the study session will give a nice
Let's
overview
kick off to it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Was that before the board?
and a good understanding of what's to come.
Great. Okay. Any questions on the draft budget process for the 26th fiscal year from anybody? Okay. Item 8.2 is Arizona legislative / governmental activity. Anybody have anything they would like to share under this category? Other than it's kind of nice that they passed some legislation that actually works for us, right?
I know.
Got it? Nothing, folks? Okay. Future agenda considerations, anyone? We have no agenda planning session following this meeting.
We don't?
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
Tomorrow
At
at
1
1.
o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, that's right, we do, 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I keep
To
trying to
plan for the January meeting.
keep trying to truncate that last agenda planning. So tomorrow, you and I, 1 p.m.
At MAC.
at MAC. Yes, okay, great.
In person?
If you have
In person.
anything.
In person.
In person, yeah, I'm coming in
That'd be good.
person.
Me too.
All right, at this point, we are done with the general business on our agenda. And the governing board is going to move back into executive session. And I believe that we just move back into executive session. We don't necessarily have to vote to move back in, do
No,
we,
I think
Carol?
we need to.
We need to
there's
vote to
a
move
motion
back
here,
in?
and yeah, we need to move back.
Okay, so does
I move-
someone want to give me a motion to move back into executive session for discussion or consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, demotion, dismissal, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of a public officer, appointee, or employee of any public body for purposes of the mid-year performance review of the superintendent? Someone want to move that?
I so move.
So second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of moving into executive session?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And did we decide to stay here?
Yeah, I think we should just stay here. And I think everybody left, but for purposes, we will make no further decisions.
So Ryan, you're going to close out. the Zoom
Anybody